Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And I have with me a wonderful panel of guest critics. We have back from quite a while. Welcome back, Mr. Nick Commando. Welcome, sir.
Hello, Randall.
Good to see you again.
Wonderful.
Yes, good. You
You
look
didn't
great.
ask how I was, but
How are you?
I'm telling you, I'm wonderful.
You know I
This is
care
how
for
I
your
feel.
well-being.
I know you do. I know you do. But I preemptively told you how I felt because for some reason I decided to be all.
It's okay. You are allowed to do that. So, and also CJ Oakland, welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
This is very weird. This is kind of like our Strong Island days. It feels
Yeah.
very similar.
It's been a while, except you used to have a chair on your own and then we'd be stuck on the couch.
Yeah,
So now you're just here with us. You're down on our level.
I know, and it's kind of cool.
You're in a fat guy sandwich.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about that, but okay.
I think that's a different demographic, but
So guys, Nick, I want to start with you. We do our weekly watches. It used to be our pandemic picks, but actually it's probably gonna go back to pandemic picks. We don't know.
we haven't left the pandemic picks.
Yeah, let's just say weekly watches. What are you watching this week?
Well, I'm not watching Fox News because I believe it's science.
Okay,
With that,
good.
I'm
Political right off the bat.
I just I just restarted Everybody Loves Raymond
Nice.
on the Peacock Network.
Awesome.
I recently watched WWE SummerSlam 2021, John Cena versus the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
Right.
Very entertaining stuff.
Cool.
I watched the terrible movie you asked me to watch. Um,
That's
and
spoilers.
sports.
Nice.
So watch sports. That's my pick for the week. Just general sports.
I love it. That's a full week, I'd say.
Yes. Yeah, I don't do much.
Good,
I
good.
don't do much.
All right. CJ, what are you watching this week?
Well, I just got into the show on, it's done by FX, but it's on Hulu. It's called Reservation Dogs.
Okay.
It's really good. Like
Native American.
Yeah, it's a drama comedy.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, it's a Native American crew making the show. It's about a group of kids growing up on a reservation where they get into crimes or stealing stuff so they can try and get out and try and make a better life for themselves.
Is
But
this fiction or is this based
it's
on?
fictional. It's
Okay.
got a lot of like movie references. Like right off the bat, obviously, it's like got inspired by like Reservoir Dogs,
Cool.
Quentin Tarantino kind of movies.
Nice.
This is about these four kids who are in a gang, and they end up getting into like the first episode is them getting in a gang war with another gang who just moved in.
Oh.
But it's like they're all like 16-year-old kids, so it's like they kind of just use like paintballs. They don't really get into like intense gang warfare. It's more just beating the crap out of each other occasionally. But
That's
it's a very funny show.
okay. But it's got heart and
It's a
humor?
lot of heart. Like
Yeah.
it's very well acted. The child actors do a fantastic job with it.
Mhm.
And each episode kind of like does its own thing and explores different aspects of like living on a reservation.
Yeah,
which
you know-
is something shows don't really go into.
You don't really hear a lot about Native American culture on TV.
Well, you do, but in very stereotypical ways. Like you don't see it where it's like actually about their lives. Like you never
No.
get a drama about that.
Right. There was it's a random movie, but a movie from like 1992 or 93 with Val Kilmer, Thunderheart, where I think he plays an FBI agent who kind of just lives amongst Native Americans on a reservation.
And he falls in love with one.
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while, but
I was very worried when you started describing it. I'm like, so Val Kilmer's playing a Native American. Yes.
I wouldn't put it past him.
It was the 90s. They had
Yeah.
people for most of cinema, they've had a lot of people playing different races that they were not.
That's true.
Speaking of Taika Waititi,
Yes. Oh,
What
he's
We Do in
great.
the Shadows season 3 comes out next month or next
Oh
week.
man, I haven't even seen season 1. I just seen
You
the
need
movie.
to watch.
I don't think I finished
The
season
show
1, but I know it's great.
Is like the movie is okay.
Right.
The show is so much better.
Really?
Oh, it's
Because
so
the movie's
good.
really funny.
So
The
funny.
movie's really good, but the show they're able to go a lot more into like the
Yeah.
dynamics of these characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is it a spin-off? Is it
It
related?
is. It's from Jermaine Clement
Okay.
and Taika Waititi. They worked together on the show. They
Okay.
directed. They wrote it. They created it.
Right.
They make cameos in it. But it's really about these three vampires that live together with a familiar who wants to be a vampire in Staten Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
So
I love
it's such a good show. It's so well written. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous.
And it has the same feel and style as the movie.
Yes, Matt Berry is a treasure.
He's a fantastic actor and he's great in this.
He's the best part of that show. Kavan Novak and Natasha Demetra do a really good job as well, and Harvey Keitel, who plays the familiar. Like the whole cast is great, but it's just, I highly recommend that. It comes out next week on FX, and then FX next day on Hulu.
Nice.
And I believe all the episodes are available on Hulu up to
Yep.
season 3.
Okay.
And they're only like 10 or 12 episodes.
I think, yeah, like 10 episodes
Yeah,
a season.
I strongly recommend it.
Okay. You know, whenever I lean back, it's like I look so small next to you
Yeah.
because you both are so
Fat
big.
guy sandwich.
Oh God, that's weird. All right. As for me,
It's like a trigger perspective. It's a
yeah.
hobbit among the people in Lord of the Rings. That's how they filmed it.
that's a good point. As for me, I'm still powering through, and I shouldn't say power through. It's a really great show. Going through Glow.
Okay.
The glamorous
That's
ladies
gorgeous,
of gorgeous ladies of wrestling. I love it. I'm almost done that, and I'm kind of balancing that, juggling that with The Good Place.
Based on the real wrestling promotion.
Oh, is it?
Glow was a real
Oh,
thing. in
yeah,
the 80s.
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah, it's like all
that's
the,
your thing.
as far as I know, I think the characters were all original to the show.
Yeah,
It's
they
like they
are.
don't reuse
They
anyone,
are.
but it's like,
Yes.
it's based
But the
kind of on the
promotion
idea.
did exist.
It's a
yeah.
fictional version of an actual show, but
Okay.
it's such
And
a
one of-
shame, like, they got canceled, because it was such a
I
good
know.
show.
I know it was
One
cut
of them
short.
went on to be a WWF wrestler,
Huh.
WWF Women's Champion, now Hall of Famer, Ivory Lisa Moretti. She was in the original Glow.
Oh, that's cool.
And Chavo Guerrero is the, I don't want to call him the stunt person. He trained all of them on the show.
Mhm.
Allison Brie, all of them, they have legitimate wrestling training.
I love it.
And he comes from a very long lineage of Mexican professional wrestlers. His uncle is Eddie Guerrero, who, if you ask any wrestling fan, is a legend. Passed away way too soon in 2005,
Okay.
about a year after he won his first WWE title. But yeah, he was the head trainer for all of the Glow girls. Trained all of them. Like they all got real wrestling training before the show. Like it wasn't, nothing was stunts.
You're talking about the original Glow.
No,
Oh,
the show.
The show.
Chavo
Okay.
Guerrero was the trainer for all of the girls on the show.
Oh, that's
and Allison Brie, all of them, they had real wrestling training for the show, which is why it's so good.
That's how it
They're
looks so
actually
authentic.
performing.
Right. It looks so good. Oh man.
I watched a couple episodes. I couldn't really get into it.
Oh no. 'Cause I think it's more about the
I'm interested.
relationships.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Stephen Amell show Heels that just came out with
Oh, yeah, I heard about
Stars.
that.
I'm interested in that because Stephen Amell has actually wrestled real matches with real wrestlers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's like always been into wrestling. Like I knew him from when he was doing Arrow, and it was fun seeing where like he really got into wrestling, and he even got like who did he have? Like Stardust got a cameo in the show as a super villain.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah,
Yep.
like they got to bring him in for it. I wasn't sure if that was his wrestling move too or not. I know
And
that's what it was on the
He
show.
wrestled Christopher Daniels at All In, which
Yeah.
was the first pay-per-view in the what is now AEW.
Okay. You know your stuff, sir.
Oh, I know things.
Yeah.
He only watched one of the movies for this week, but he really brings a lot of wrestling knowledge.
Perfect. And I think that's a good segue into our first film review.
Is it?
I think so.
Is it?
It's the best
I
one
mean-
yet.
I feel like we should. I feel like if we're talking about like sanitation. Be like, speaking of garbage,
I think that would be more interesting for you.
I think so. I would agree with that.
But we're talking about. I mean, this movie is very strange. It's called Annette, and what attracted me to it was the cast. You've got Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard, and Simon Helberg. Everybody knows Adam Driver, but at this point, Star Wars, Girls. He's a very different, unique actor, and he stars in this. He has his character basically falls in love with Marion Cotillard, who is actually a French actress in her own right. She's a great actress. I believe she's an Academy Award winner as well.
Jeez.
Um,
Very talented.
so basically, this film is very odd. Like I've said, Driver plays a stand-up comedian who
Not a funny stand-up comedian.
yeah, he's got this like weird aggressive style. He comes out in a bathrobe. He's like throwing stuff all over the stage. It's very odd. But basically, he has a romance with Marion Cotillard's character, who is an opera singer. They have a child named Annette, a child who is actually a wooden puppet.
Girl Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's like a marionette, I guess you'd call it, marionette puppet. And yeah, it's also to add to the weirdness, it is a rock opera musical, and basically Driver and Cotillard are singing throughout most of the film. And there's some tension with piano player, played by Simon Helberg of The Big Bang Theory. So yeah, I was intrigued. I thought there'd be a lot of interesting stuff in this movie. There was, but I don't know.
Very interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the cons and the pros are kind of like balanced here.
Yeah, like there was a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to say that the fact that they had like a puppet playing the role of their baby was like the least weird thing to me. That was the thing I could buy into. So it's like, okay, yeah.
That's
like
good.
It's a very surreal movie, like on purpose.
Yeah.
Like basically they, like you said, it's an opera. Like it really threw me off that there's almost no actual like spoken dialogue in the movie at all. Everything is sung
Right.
like to music. Like everything is just the actors sing what they're feeling or what they're doing, and that's pretty much the entire film.
Pretty much. And I want to just mention that the soundtrack, the songs and the music was written. Also, the screenplay was written by Ron Mael and Russell Mael of Sparks. I have no knowledge of Sparks, but
I don't listen to a lot of their stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like I was able to recognize them.
Yeah.
And like as soon as the movie starts, it's like you see them in a booth, and it's like a thing where it's like you see them, and I'm like, oh hey, it's Sparks. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of musical, and it was.
Yeah. No, and the songs and music are pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, I was enjoying it. I think this would be better like just to listen to it. It doesn't really complement the visuals too well. I don't know.
Yeah, like
It was weird. It was off. is
it's
what
the
I'm saying.
weird thing to me is that like the music's okay. Like I like some of the numbers. Like the
Yeah.
opening one is the best. It's been stuck in my head for like 2 days straight now, which is like I don't really like the movie, but it's like the opening song is great. It's a banger.
Yeah.
But the music's okay. The visuals are very interesting. They do a lot of like different interesting things to it.
Yeah.
Very theatrical. But it's like you said, they're not really connected. It's like
Yeah.
you have a good director who wanted to do something good
Right.
visually to tell the story, and good musicians who have like good music. But I also felt like the dialogue and the lyrics of the songs were so very literal and surface level.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Superficial.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just them. It felt like they put like placeholders for like, okay, we made all the songs and like they're gonna be saying about this, they're gonna be saying about this. And instead of like coming up with an actual song about it, like a musical would, they just have the characters kind of just say what they're doing or like just blatantly
Right.
say what they're feeling.
It needed something. It needed more adjustment in the screenplay. Something was definitely not there that I wanted. I wanted to like this movie more than I did.
Yeah.
But I was kind of let down. Nick, what did you think?
I mean, I don't really think that. I think the thing that you were missing was a coherent story. I don't think. Well, I'm not saying that for effect. I legitimately watched this movie and I didn't understand what was happening.
Mhm.
And it didn't. The things that were going on just didn't make sense to me. To me, there wasn't enough establishment at the beginning. Like they have the opening number.
Yeah.
Where they're walking out of the building. First, they're in the studio. They're walking out of the building. And then they finish and they're on a street finishing the number. And then it just goes into, we're in a dark back room. There's a guy in a robe with a hood on, smoking a cigarette, eating a banana, which by the way, what the hell kind of flavor combo could that be?
Okay. Not good.
And it just, and then watching him do his stand-up comedy.
No.
I was sitting there, I was like, it felt like they were trying to establish some sort of inner monologue with Adam Driver's character.
Right.
But I feel like it didn't come off that way because it just felt everything felt too connected
Okay.
and too fluid. Like it just felt like the crowd feels like they can just start in unison yelling stuff.
Yeah.
And it just felt too fluid, as if it felt like they didn't know what they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, they wanted to tell a story about a couple that had some issues, and it's just a weird commentary on I guess being a parent, and I'm trying to decipher it, but
Well, the other thing too is there was that one scene where they were talking about how much they loved each other, and then
Right.
all of a sudden they're having Adam Driver's performing a very specific sexual act on Marion Cotillard.
right.
And I was like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
This is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my wife. I don't only express love for my wife by sexual acts.
Yeah.
I buy her flowers every so often. I get her a thing at Hot Topic that she likes.
That was very random. Yeah.
It just, things like that during the film just didn't make sense to me.
Right.
And then, like, I got like kind of the bones of it. Like, obviously Adam Driver's a toxic individual. He's bitter. He's like a stereotypical comedian.
Yeah. Like Lenny Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah. He massively outkicks his coverage with Marion Cotillard, who's a beautiful opera singing woman.
Right.
And, it kind of just felt like it felt like what happens when a fling isn't acknowledged as a fling, and they try to actually be a couple, and then the things happen, and then apparently at one point somebody dies.
Yeah.
But I don't really remember seeing that happen.
Right.
It felt like it was just implied that the person died.
And then all of a sudden they're
And then all of a sudden-
on a cruise. They're on a yacht.
Yeah, and one of the characters, it's implied, killed the other character, but nothing was said until Simon Helberg decides to come out and say it.
Yeah.
It was one of those weird movies that just felt like it was trying to be weird more than be a good movie.
Yeah.
It was definitely a very experimental.
It was just very annoying
Right.
to watch for me, because it was just like, I don't really like that stuff. Always, I guess, just flies over my head, and I don't really like being reminded of my intellectual limitations, because this movie was about that.
It's a French. It's by a French director, Leos Carax. If I'm butchering that, I apologize. He did an equally weird movie called Holy Motors a couple of years ago, and he just has this like track record of just being very French and very artsy.
It felt like one of those weird art house films that you just don't.
It's
like,
a movie.
Nothing happens, but it's like, oh, it was genius.
Yeah.
It's art.
Right.
Like, no, I invested 2 hours and 20 minutes in this film. I'd like to come out of it feeling like something happened to me.
It's art for art's sake. There's there's very little point. I wish there was more of a point to it.
Yeah.
But again, let down. But
And then go Pinocchio.
I like those art house kind of movies. Like
Yeah.
I like those kind of movies. Like this kind of reminded me like the Green Knight that just came out with Deadpool, which I was looking forward to that for like a year and a half since it was delayed by the pandemic. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie. I don't like everything about it. There were some scenes where it lost me, but it's like overall it was such a weird cinematic take, and I really loved a lot of what was going on with it. It was
Right.
a very interesting film. I love a lot of what it was doing visually. But it's like you could tell the story and everything, the acting, it all kind of came together in
Yeah.
a lot of different ways to tell the
the
story.
filmmakers
This
have
one, it felt very disjointed, where it felt like you had some good musicians making good music.
Right.
You had good actors being able to act. You had a good director coming up with good stuff visually. But it all felt like they were kind of just jumping in saying, hey, let's do this now, and made that into a 2 hour and 20-minute project. It didn't feel like we all came together for a coherent story.
Right.
Like that wasn't what they set out to do. They just set out to do a few random interesting
The
things.
filmmakers' intentions were good, but the execution kind of, it left something to be desired.
It sounds to me, though, like from what you're describing, from what this director's done previously, it sounds like this was his intention.
Okay.
So I don't know if this was his intention. I don't consider it.
You think he's just screwing with us?
I don't know. If he's
I don't think he's screwing with us.
Yeah.
Because he told the story he wanted to tell.
Yeah.
Like visually, everything's there. You could mute this movie and be able to figure out what the story is telling. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like
Absolutely.
everything is all in the actors' performances and the visuals.
Yeah.
And then the music is a separate element, also trying to tell the story, but they don't feel like they're connected.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some
I
disconnect. That's
I
for
also
sure.
despise, with a fiery passion of 1,000 suns,
Mhm.
films that think they have to sing the whole goddamn.
Oh yeah, there was no reason for it. They didn't have enough room for
It
musical
is
numbers.
so unnecessary.
So much of it was just random people in the crowd singing stuff. It's like half this movie is the Greek chorus saying, and that is not how you want to do
Well,
a musical. Or
I mean, to be fair, it is a musical, and that's what musicals
The
do.
Producers was a musical.
Mhm.
They didn't sing.
That's a
the whole
good point.
time.
That's
Well, that's the
true.
thing. This isn't a musical. A musical is like actors telling a story and occasionally doing musical numbers in
Yeah.
order to show the plot. An opera, they sing the entire time. That's what this is meant to be. But they didn't have enough material for
Yeah.
a 2 hour and 20-minute opera, which they did. So instead, they just had kind of these short musical numbers playing nonstop, one after another, where characters would just say like one sentence and repeat that over and over, and that's a song.
You know what? I think this would have worked a little bit better if it weren't a musical.
Well, I also think that, again, to me, it goes back to just tell a coherent story.
Right.
Don't just count on the audience to just infer.
Yeah.
Like we shouldn't infer major plot devices like a character dying. You know, we shouldn't infer things like that. You should tell us what exactly happened and how it happened or why it happened. You know, like if there's some sort of weird inner dialogue going on with Adam Driver's character, show us that. Put him in front of the mirror and make him sing to his face. Like something like that. Give me something that tells me, hey, you're watching a movie and this is what's happening in the movie. Not, here are these blocks, put them together in the way I intended.
Well, yeah, I guess the filmmaker is a bit of a mastermind, kind of a crazed scientist, in your opinion?
I think he's a moron.
Okay.
I don't really think, to me to be a mastermind or a mad scientist implies there was some sort of plan or some sort of method and some form of intelligence. I don't really consider what he did to be any of those things.
Well, here's a question. What do you think of the cast? If the direction is not something you're for.
Adam Driver doesn't really, I mean, I liked him as Kylo Ren. I felt like he had the right amount of
he had something.
inner anger to be that character, but
Angst.
I don't really, I haven't seen him in enough stuff that besides Star Wars to be able to say I think he's good or bad.
No.
He doesn't pop off the screen for me when I watch him.
He is a little bland, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but something else is brewing inside him that makes me
that's
want to watch.
like the thing with Kylo Ren. There's internalized rage. Like he's angry.
Well, I felt that from this movie as well. Like they do a good job acting. They're good actors, but my biggest problem is they're clearly not singers. Like it felt like watching the Les Mis movie they just did recently, where it's like you can tell Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard, they're not made to be singers. Like they're singing songs, and I recognize they're singing a song, but I can't understand any of what they're singing because of the tone of their voice. Like it's very hard to like realize what's happening.
And this also didn't feel like operatic. This felt more like musical.
Yeah.
You know, like to me, it was more along the lines of the producers than it was Les Miserables. And I feel like for the tone that they were trying to set, you needed more Les Miserables than you need producer.
Right. But visually, what did you think visually?
Visually, I thought it was really good. Like Nick's clearly didn't enjoy the movie, but it's like to me, for the director did a lot of really interesting stuff on screen that I liked,
and I think
like a lot of like surreal and experimental stuff. But it's also just for a 2 hour and 20-minute movie, I don't think it was worth it. I think if it was shorter, this really felt more like a showcase of a bunch of different ideas he wanted to experiment.
What did you see as experimental?
Well, basically, the way I see it is, I really loved the difference between, you see, like Marion Cotillard when she's on stage, like performing like her opera, where it's like it's her character on stage among the forest, and it feels like Red Riding Hood almost kind of set up is like what you can tell from it as she's singing. And then there's a part where the back of the stage slides open, and you see an actual forest beyond it, and she goes and she's dancing in the forest, and then it goes back to the fake forest on stage. And I'm like, that's a really interesting setup there that you can't do in an opera on stage. You can only do it in film. And it felt like a really good blend of how you can do a lot of these like operatic setups, but using the visual.
And you know, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this is a movie that you can watch on mute and still get it. You know, you could still figure out what's going on in the story.
Well, that's why I think it's an opera, because it's like when I listen to opera, it's like I don't understand the time, so it's like I hear the music is great, I see what's happening on stage is great, I can't understand what they're saying, but you can usually pick up the story anyway. And I felt like that's the approach he was going for. Is I don't want you to care what the actors are saying like a traditional movie. It's like we have music underneath that be entertaining, but you can see everything visually. You see Adam Driver's anger, you see her fear, you see them having their conflict coming together.
Right.
And I felt like that's what he wanted to tell. And the music was secondary. And that felt like a very odd approach to an opera.
So then make a silent film.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like,
why are you even like? To me, I get what you're saying, CJ. I agree with it, and I do find the movie to be visually appealing. I thought it was very pretty. I thought what they things that they did were very nice.
Yeah.
My issue really is with the story structure.
Oh,
and-
absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree with you there.
It had some
And-
faults, but some flaws.
To me, when you say something like this movie would have been better or just as good on mute because I can see them emoting things with their body,
Yeah.
to me, that's a testament to how poorly, the script writing and the music side of it was how poorly that was portrayed.
Right.
Because why am I going to watch a movie on mute to get the full experience? I should be able to watch the movie with all of its facets and get everything I need to get out of it.
Right.
Again, I don't
You're right,
really,
yeah.
I don't really think that
It's
a movie
not-
should be made to make people think at the end,
Yeah.
what happened? And
Right,
that's
right.
kind of how I felt when I finished it.
That's fair.
And my wife is mad at me for making me watch it.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I apologize. CJ, see it or skip it.
I mean, if you like weird experimental stuff, maybe you'll enjoy it, maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have to watch it for the show, I would have shut it off after 10 minutes, I'll be honest. Like, because as soon as it gets to a stand-up set where it's Adam Driver doing stand-up, but where he's not meant to be funny at all, and that's the point of it, it felt like my friend dragged me to a comedian where it is not my approach to humor at all. And I'm just sitting there awkwardly listening to other people laughing like, I should not be here. I should go.
So that's kind of a lukewarm response.
Yeah, it's like, if you like kind of movies like this, you can try it, but it's like, it was very weird for me. It's like, I liked a few parts of it, but I really wouldn't recommend sitting through it if I was thinking of a movie to show a friend.
Gotcha. I hear you. And Nick, I think I know
I mean,
your
it
answer.
wasn't my cup of tea, but if that's something that you're interested in, if you like kind of art house, arty movies that, try to send you a message without telling you what the message is, go for it. I think there's worse ways to spend 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it wasn't for me. I know that.
Now that's a diplomatic answer, I must say. I say see it. If you're a fan of any of the actors or the director, obviously go check it out. It is a very interesting film experiment, quote unquote. But yeah, I would say see it. So, okay, guys, so we're going to just take a short commercial break. We'll be right back with more film reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Rainy Younger Under the Radar, and we are on to our second review of the evening. This movie, very interesting film. Unfortunately, CJ and I are the only ones who saw it. I hope you see it in the future, Nick. But it's called No Man of God, and is the true story of FBI agent Bill Hagmaier, played by Elijah Wood, who basically sits down with infamous serial killer Ted Bundy in the mid to late 80s. Basically, he's interviewing him in the hopes of starting a new profiling system with criminals to see basically what makes them tick and to prevent future crimes. So Elijah Wood plays Hagmaier. Luke Kirby plays the infamous Ted Bundy. And I think this is a great film. I mean, it was really well made. The screenplay obviously inspired by true events. It had sort of a Silence of the Lambs feel to it for me. Kind of that relationship
A
between,
bit, which, like, to be fair, like Ted Bundy and Bill Hagmaier talking to him, like, that was the inspiration for the Hannibal Lecter character in the first book, and then when
That
I went
makes
to the
sense.
movies, like that was the inspiration for it. That's
Yeah.
kind of where the archetype of the devious serial killer and the FBI agent having like a battle of wits, like that's where it kind of comes from.
And they've done it a few times in cinema history.
Oh yeah, it's a trope now.
Yeah, I like it, and it works really well with these two actors because the back and forth is really, they're great together. I've been following Elijah Wood. I mean, his first movie was Back to the Future Part 2. He played one of the kids in the
Little
Cafe
kids,
80s. And he's matured into a really really talented actor, and I love pretty much anything he does. Interviewed him twice already. Very nice guy. Very short, but don't hold that against him.
He was a hawk. Like, come on.
Yeah,
You can't hold that against
That's
him.
true. That's true. But no, really good actor, and I loved him in this. I thought he was pitch perfect. I can't think of a better actor in this role.
Yeah, no, like he really found a good approach to this role that worked. Where it's like you have Ted Bundy, where obviously he hates talking to like the feds,
Right.
and you have to be able to play like someone who can get Ted Bundy to open up to you. But as like the start of the movie shows, like everyone says, like he's gonna eat you alive if you're not careful. Like,
Yeah.
he wants to get in your head, and that's where it's like you have to be vulnerable enough to draw him out, but also not actually get sucked into his world and his way of thinking.
Right.
And that's a good psychological tension that kind of goes through the movie.
And yeah, so by not getting sucked into the world and not like overpowering Bundy, they kind of Hagmeyer kind of like achieves this weird balance, almost like a friendship, which is very weird to see with one of the American history's most notable serial killers. But again, great film, great interplay between both of them. Nick, even though you didn't get to see the film, I think you get like a pretty good idea. I think you saw the actual documentary.
I saw the Netflix series. I think it was called the Ted Bundy tapes, some sort of. I think it was like the Ted Bundy tapes was like a subtitle with a bigger title. I don't remember that.
All right.
But the thing that astounds me is why we have such a fascination with people like Ted Bundy, who is quite literally the worst of humanity.
Yeah.
Why do we care
Right.
about what goes on in his head? He's a twisted, garbage individual who should not see the light of day and doesn't deserve to be within society. He obviously has issues.
Yeah.
And I respect that. I understand that.
Right.
But overall, it feels like we idolize. We give these, serial killers way more notoriety than we should.
Right.
True crime podcasts, things like that. It amazes me to no end that things like this continue to get made. I guess it's like a morbid curiosity thing, but even when I was watching the Ted Bundy thing on Netflix, I was just like, why do we care about this?
Yeah.
He died. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He was.
he's dead.
He died.
He was executed. Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Like I think the electric chair.
He was executed. Like none of this stuff is going to bring any of his victims back, and it's not going to bring any solace to the family of his victims.
Right.
If anything, it probably aggravates the families of his victims that he gets any type of murder, that an actor is playing him on screen.
Yeah.
This was literally a guy who would seduce college-age women and then just murder them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that something that we need to put more content out?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting story. I mean,
Yeah, honestly, it's just studios like want to play to audiences they find it titillating. Like, look at all these shows where it's like you have like Criminal Minds is like almost a fetishization.
it's
hard word to get out.
Yeah.
Of serial killers and murderers, and plays on a lot of really bad ideas of.
But that's
like
on the other.
mental
But
illness.
that to me is a little different because it's the other side of the coin. It's kind of showing the team, and I enjoyed the show, so maybe I'm biased, but that to me is more the team catching the person and stopping them before they.
Yeah,
hurt
but you
anybody.
also see them doing everything they're doing through the episode and how much is implied. Like, look at all these movies and shows. They really talk about like it's almost an excuse to be able to see the killers do these things. And I think this movie actually has a very interesting scene that touches on this, where like in their first interview, Ted Bundy is talking to Elijah Wood's character and saying like, you know how there are those detective books where it's about like profiling different crimes and things that happen, but all the covers show these like half naked girls or girls who are tied up. And it's like, it's about, ostensibly, it's about how the police are able to catch his killer. But really, it's more something titillating to say you're able to envision yourself in the killer. And it's like, there is that dichotomy where Ted Bundy is a horrible, horrible person.
Was.
But he was. But it's not an inhuman thing. Like, that, the things that's in serial killers isn't something completely alien and like unknowable evil. It's a very human thing. It's not a good thing. I don't think it's an innate thing. I don't think it's like humans are naturally greedy or evil or anything. But in society, we definitely do breed those kind of ideas of people.
So you're saying that Ted Bundy, he was human.
Yeah.
But he did terrible, terrible things.
Oh, yeah.
He still deserves.
He was a terrible human, but
Yeah.
he was human. And I think the movie does a really good
Right.
job of showing that. Where like
it amplifies his humanity in a weird way, and it makes you kind of almost sympathize with him. Like this is kind of
But that's
it's
where I
not
take
fully
that's where I take exception.
Right.
That's where I take exception to it.
Mm,
I don't care. I don't want him to be humanized.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a human. He's a crap human. He's terrible. He's a terrible individual. And to me, I don't consider people like that to be human.
Mhm.
I consider that subhuman or animalistic.
Yeah.
And I see your point, CJ, and there's nothing that you said that I can disagree with in any shape or form, any way, shape, or form, aside from the fact that I don't consider those people human. But that's an opinion thing. There's nothing really disputable. It's a fact. It's a fact that they're human. But to me, I just don't consider.
But
I don't consider them
I
that way.
agree with your point. Like, why are they idolizing this monster?
Why do we need a movie
Yeah.
that humanizes
we really
Ted
don't.
Bundy?
Like, I really don't think we
That's-
need
Yeah,
as many movies about serial killers and stuff as we do.
yeah.
Like
No,
the
absolutely.
news coverage also we see where it's like the news loves talking about this stuff because it gets people paying attention to it.
Yeah. I think it's just a good showcase for the actors, the two actors involved. I don't think it's the point of the film is to humanize Bundy. I think it's just to just showcase
Well,
an
yeah,
interesting
no, I don't-
relationship.
I don't mean to imply that that's what happened because A, I didn't see the film, and B, that's not what you said. You just said the way that the movie was written kind of humanized him a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
fine. I mean, that's a choice that the writer makes. What I also enjoy, because I'm going to say something nice now, is I like seeing actors like Elijah Wood, Daniel Radcliffe, who were part of these gigantic film franchises, like The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and they're going out. They just do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
They just do whatever projects they want to do because
You know.
they've got it rolling in. I'm happy for
That's
that.
great. No, when they have that type of power and clout in Hollywood, they can take more.
Because they don't have to do
chances.
that stuff.
Yeah.
They don't have
This
to.
is a risky role
Yeah,
for Elijah.
100%.
And-
And he's done a lot of interesting stuff. He had
Yeah.
that show on FX.
Mhm.
Was it called
Oh, wow.
Wilfred?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Was it Willard?
Wilford, I think.
Was it Wilford or Willard?
I think Wilford.
Okay.
I
Wilfred.
think
Is
I know it was a remake of an Australian show.
That's
Yeah,
he has
the guy
a.
plays a dog.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like his best friend is a dog. Who everyone else sees as a dog, but he sees as a person,
Yeah.
and he gets to talk to him. It's very interesting.
That's very strange.
And he was on
I love it. I
Dirk
love it.
Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Mm.
Which, like, I hate Max Landis, who's a writer for that one. I hate almost every project he's done, but I love that show. And I'm like, why do I like this thing from this person that
What's
I
it-
otherwise
what's
like
it
every
called?
It's Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Oh, okay.
It's based on the books by Douglas Adams, very like loosely based, but he's the guy who did like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So like,
Oh.
I love that weird, fantastical kind of stuff, and it's about a guy who's a detective where he's just like holistically drawn to mysteries and will naturally figure it out on his own, and he's just kind of bumbling along. And it's a very interesting idea for a show.
I'm telling you, Elijah Wood
Daniel
is.
Radcliffe's doing
Yeah.
Miracle Workers. He did that Swiss Army Man movie.
I have so
Yeah.
much respect for Daniel Radcliffe coming out of
Guns
Harry Potter
Akimbo
movies,
was another
Yeah.
one
and then
where he had
decides to
guns
do
attached
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is such.
An actor to take chances like that, roles that are like not a lot of people saw Swiss Army Man.
When
Oh, no, it's
but
not
when
Swiss
you've got,
Army Man.
but when you've got like Lord of the Rings money and
Yeah.
Harry Potter money,
That's it.
you can take whatever risks you want to take because you're pretty much covered.
Yeah.
That stuff is evergreen. That's going to
Yeah.
live forever. He's 40. Elijah Wood's 40 now. I think Daniel Radcliffe is 32 or 30. I think he's
Some-
close to our age.
Yeah, something.
They're going to be able to live off that for the rest of their lives.
They are. And just if they keep making great movies, then all the power to them. And I'm happy that we're exposed to that art. You know what? I meant to mention that Annette is now out in select theaters, and it's also streaming on Amazon Prime. So if you're curious about that, go check it out. So CJ, No Man of God, were you a fan?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I say you can go see it. It
Yeah.
almost felt like a stage play because it's really
Yeah.
almost the entirety of the movie is just Elijah Wood and him in the room. But it's like they do such a great job showing like how their relationship grows, how he has to be able to get Ted Bundy talking to get more information out of him. And also seeing like as Ted Bundy gets closer to his execution, just like how like he always says these things, like he's a very charismatic person. So he's saying like, oh, I'm intelligent, I believe these things, and then you see him kind of going against it as he's like trying to manipulate things to try and stay alive.
Right.
It's a very interesting take on it, which you don't usually see a lot of these shows do. Like
Right.
they're all focused on the past of what he did, and this show is really trying to be like, how is an FBI agent able to get this man to talk and be able to kind of figure out what actually like makes him tick and like why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, it's great. The back and forth, I just can't get over it. It's so good. And also, this film has a very strong pandemic feel to it because it's just those two. Most of the film is just these two guys. So, and they're sort of socially distanced. So I think I don't know if
you
you'll
could say being on either opposite sides of an interrogation table is technically socially
sort of
distancing.
right. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I say see it again. Elijah Wood. I don't think he's ever done a bad movie. I don't think
He's
ever
a very good actor.
He's very
done a lot, yeah.
consistent. You know, he keeps hit after hit, I'd say. But yeah, No Man of God, now out in theaters and available on demand via RLJ Entertainment. So check that out. Nick, would you go see it?
Sure.
Okay. Did we pique your interest with it?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something I would probably see if I really wanted to see it. But again, there's just something about that stuff that I just object to so strongly. But you know, from what you guys are describing with the performances and Elijah Wood and all that, I might go and see it.
Check it out. Cool. All right, guys. So again, check that out. No Man of God. Okay, so next up is an interesting documentary that only I saw, but I recommend you guys see as well.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah, well, it was odd. I don't know if it's weirder than Annette or on the same level, but this one is called The Seer and the Unseen, and it's basically about an environmentalist in Iceland who basically wants to protect and preserve this dried up lava. I don't know, it's like a weird volcano or crater, and she wants to just protect it from being bulldozed by these land developers, I think they were. And she also believes that this site has the spirits of elves. And she actually inspires a small community of protesters to basically camp out and protest on the site to prevent these developers. It's a beautiful film. You know, obviously Iceland is a gorgeous country, so we get to see that beautiful rolling hills and mountains. But yeah, it's a strange documentary, and but kind of interesting. The notion of the spirit, and you know how close people can get to nature, and that's that kind of spirituality of that whole situation. But yeah, it's an interesting film. It's called The Seer and the Unseen, and it is now streaming on Apple TV and Altavod streaming platform. So check out The Seer and the Unseen. So that's available now. And gentlemen, I just wanted to talk about some coming attractions this week. We've got Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms. It's the latest animated Mortal Kombat film. We've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the new Marvel martial arts fantasy film. We also have, this one seems interesting. It's called Karen.
Oh God.
You know about it?
Oh yep, I've seen the trailer.
I didn't see the trailer, but it seems kind of interesting to me. The premise is, okay, a racist woman takes it as a personal mission to displace the new black family that just moved into the neighborhood, but they won't back down without a fight. And it's got Taryn Manning from Orange is the New Black. I guess she plays the racist woman. And I mean, it could be really intense. And how did the trailer look?
Here's the thing: when the trailer was first playing, I thought it was a parody. It looks like an SNL skit that's hilarious and over the top. And then when it gets to the end and showing this and it says the date when it's going on, I'm like, wait, this was a real movie they made, and it is. It's imagine if someone saw Get Out, said, "Oh, we should make one of those," but without any of the talent that like Jordan Peele brought to it.
Oh wow.
And just very over the top and unnecessary.
I mean, even though it's like a really intense thriller, it probably has a decent amount of.
We're watching the trailer after this.
Yeah, for sure.
You need to understand the approach they're taking to this.
Yeah, I'm very curious now because I like Taryn Manning. I think she's a pretty good actress on Orange is the Black.
Oh yeah, but it's like just her in an awful wig having to play up every Karen trope they have.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's weird.
Okay. All right. Next down on the list, Zone 14, 414. Excuse me. It's got a good cast. Guy Pearce is in it. Travis Fimmel. Set in the near future, the film follows private detective David Carmichael, who is hired by Marlon Veidt, an eccentric businessman, to find his daughter. David teams up with an advanced AI to solve the mystery. It has potential. It's got Guy Pearce. So, yeah. Nick, so far, any of these grabbing you?
Karen feels like it should be Karen feels like it's over the top because they really want to mock and make fun of racism and racists because, you know, the only thing that my question is, does Karen take place on Long Island?
Ooh, good question.
Maybe Nassau or Suffolk County is where hillbilly land, so maybe there.
Maybe. Well, we'll find out after the show.
And none of you will know what
That's a
I
little
don't believe it is, but
under the radar behind the scenes. All right.
under the radar after dark.
Perfect.
after
Next up on the list, Yakuza Princess thriller, which has a mostly Asian cast.
in Yakuza Princess? No.
Yeah, right. I'm assuming Japanese from the names. Masumi, Yoshi. Okay, I'm not even gonna keep going. But it's got Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
Tsuyoshi Ihara.
Thank you. Is it Jonathan Rhys or Rice? Rhys Meyers.
I thought it was Rhys Meyers.
Was it Rhys?
I thought it was Rhys Meyers.
I love him. He's
He's the voice of Plankton.
okay.
No, Man Ray. He's the voice of Man Ray.
He is Man Ray.
He's Man Ray.
He was also in Match Point, 2005 Woody Allen thriller
He's
film.
Man Ray. That's all
Man
he
Ray?
is. He's Man
Okay.
Ray. That's all he is.
He's
That's
Man Ray.
The only credit that matters is Man Ray on SpongeBob SquarePants.
That's so random. All right, and we've got a couple more on the list. The Gateway, a drama thriller. Social worker assigned to the care of the daughter of a single mother intervenes when the dad returns from prison and lures them into a life of crime.
I was gotta look him up.
Yeah.
Okay, they're good actors. I'm interested.
Yeah. Grillo was in the bodyguard's hitman's wife.
Oh, the
Hitman's bodyguard's wife.
Hitman's bodyguard,
Or no,
wife's
the Hitman's
sister's
wife's
bodyguard.
Hitman's
bodyguard.
wife's body. Thank you.
First was the Hitman's Bodyguard. The next one was the Hitman's wife's bodyguard. I saw it. It's not great.
Well, I've seen worse.
Yeah. It's what you
I
would think
saw
it
it,
is. for
it's
that
not
title.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, Frank Grillo, Shea Wiggum, Olivia Munn. She's great. She was in.
What is the Simpsons character doing in another movie?
Yeah, you don't hear that name often. We Need to Do Something, horror film. And lastly, we have Mogul Mowgli, a drama starring Riz Ahmed, who was actually in one of the best films of last year called The Sound of Metal.
Yeah, Riz Ahmed. He's a really good actor.
Yeah, he was nominated for Best Act for an Oscar. Zed is a British Pakistani rapper who is based in New York. Before his European tour begins, he is diagnosed with a degenerative autoimmune disease. He returns to see his Pakistani family in London. So, feel good movie. But yeah, Riz Ahmed, he also co-wrote it, so that has some potential there. So, all right, that's a big week, I'd say.
That was a big week.
Yeah, so a lot of variety, diversity in those films. But I think we all want to see Karen, so that should be good. Yeah. But okay. So we have a few minutes left, guys. Nick, is there anything you're looking forward to seeing, movies or TV wise?
Well, speaking of Riz Ahmed, I actually just finished watching The Night of,
Okay.
which was a phenomenal show. Very, very good.
Okay.
He was very good in that.
Okay.
I don't know if there's what we do in the Shadows season 3 next week. Brooklyn Nine-Nine season, the final season is
Oh,
currently
yeah, that
airing.
just started.
The Suicide Squad, you should go see that.
Yes,
was
we
phenomenal.
reviewed it a
I
couple
love-
weeks ago. That was
I
good.
love that movie
Very
so
good.
much.
Mhm.
Nothing that really is coming out that piques my interest.
Mhm.
I'm a few episodes away from finishing my second run through of The Sopranos, so there's that.
Nice.
Go out and get the new Pokemon games that come out in November.
Cool. And you know what? I still have to. Probably later tonight, I'm gonna start season 1 of The Sopranos.
You've never watched it before?
I've only
never
seen
seen
like
it
a
either.
handful of episodes. I know.
How do you have a show
I know.
if you've never seen The Sopranos?
I've seen a few of them.
Gabagool.
Yeah, I know. But you're gonna be back for
Gabagool.
the film, right? The
Many Saints of Newark. That's why I'm watching it. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Are you a Sopranos fan?
I've never really seen it. I need to still.
Why? What is? God, I value both of your
No.
opinions on entertainment.
Well, give us a couple weeks or even a month because that's gonna.
Give me some time to work through it. Yeah.
That's a lot of seasons, but I'm game. I'm gonna do it.
Come over and watch it at my place.
Yeah, I'm gonna start here. But yeah, I'll come over for some episodes too. Sure.
Do some Sopranos nights.
I love it. Yeah, binge a little bit.
Bring the Gabagool.
CJ, anything you're looking forward to in the coming weeks or months, whatever?
I don't know. I'm even trying to think of like what other movies are coming out because the schedules have been so like shifted because of the pandemic. It's very hard to figure out like what was coming out that I'm excited for again. Really, the only thing I was excited for was Suicide Squad. That lived up to all my expectations. I loved it. I'll
Nice.
probably watch that again. So
Yeah, that's definitely replayable for sure.
Anybody check if the weasel could swim?
That's awesome. I love it. And there's a pretty funny altered photo of Weasel in the Cat in the Hat. You got it.
oh, I've seen that one. Yeah,
yeah.
the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat, but it's just Weasel coming up on the kid. And it's like that is funny on so many levels.
I think
at least 2 levels, but it's hilarious.
good friend of the show, Matt Roran. I think he posted that on his Facebook page. So yeah, it was awesome. But you know what? We still have some more time. I wanted to talk. Did you guys check out the new Spider-Man? Not Far From.
No
No Way Home.
No Way
I did watch that.
Yeah. What'd you guys think?
Well, I have to see that. I have to see Far From Home because I never saw Far From Home.
I
did see
liked Far
Homecoming.
From Home for what it was. I enjoyed it. This one, No Way Home, looks like it'll be interesting, but I'm always thrown off by these movies because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I have been since I was a kid. So like, while I've enjoyed the Marvel Spider-Man movies, it always feels like they're not his movies. Like
Yeah.
the first 2, it's all about like his relationship with like Iron Man, because they kind of set that up in Captain America: Civil War, that like he kind of recruits young Peter Parker to be Spider-Man. And it's like, it feels like he's Iron Man Jr. for those 2 movies because the villains really kind of relate more to Iron Man as a motivation, and Spider-Man just kind of gets involved.
Right.
And in this one, it feels like it's him and Doctor Strange kind of teaming up.
Yeah.
And it's now going off of the other Spider-Man movies because it opens up the multiverse. So it's like, it looks like one of the villains is going to be Alfred Molina back as Doc
Yeah,
Ock, which
yep.
is the only reason I will see this movie because I absolutely love Alfred Molina.
Right.
I love him as Doc Ock. It's Spider-Man 2 is my favorite.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna
So-
be really.
It'll be an interesting experience, but I
Yeah.
really want more of them to do Spider-Man movies where just him being Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't always have to be, oh, here's our version of Spider-Man being in like other people's movies.
Well, I'm
I
gonna.
feel like that's more of a testament to the character, though. I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like this version of Peter Parker is too unsure of himself to do stuff on his own. I think that's kind of what they're trying to go for with him because he's still depicted as such a young version of the character.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like if he went out on his own, it might be just a complete disaster.
Well, I think
that's the fun of Spider-Man
he's-
is seeing him mess up until he
he's-
finally gets to write it.
I think he's maturing as a superhero, which is awesome. And also, I'm really excited to see, just from the short trailer, the interaction between him and Doctor Strange because they have kind of a similar sarcastic tone, style
Yeah,
about them. You know.
Like
It feels very much like,
Yeah.
like to me, Doctor Strange is in this movie is probably going to be like
he's
great
his new
value
dad.
Tony Stark, and that whole dynamic of like Tony Stark being like, "Hey, you're a kid," and you know Peter Parker being like, "Oh," I feel like
Peter
that's,
Parker will never stop looking for a father figure with a goatee.
Yeah,
That's
no,
his thing.
never.
And you know what? Speaking of other Sony films, CinemaCon, I believe, recently, it was this week at some point, or yesterday, I gotta get my facts straight.
They screened Ghostbusters.
They screened
Afterlife.
Ghostbusters
I
Afterlife.
think I read online that movie supposedly
No, but
they did the thing.
everyone who saw it had to like sign something or just said they could not reveal any plot points or spoilers. But the reactions were unanimous. It was totally positive for this movie. Like this is going to be a perfect third Ghostbusters movie, and I'm excited. Obviously,
Are you a big Ghostbusters fan, Randy?
I've seen it like once or twice.
You never really mentioned it much.
Yeah, it's just this thing.
Like, show the book.
Get the book.
This is on Randy's coffee table.
It's just a little book, coffee table thing. Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan.
I like that you opened it up to one page. So proud.
Sigourney Weaver.
Hubba hub. No, but
Some random pictures.
great book, guys. By the way, the complete visual history of Ghostbusters. Go get it if you haven't done so already.
Pictures of monsters.
Yes.
Pictures of
Okay,
Slimer.
I don't think we need to stretch
Yeah.
the time this
The
month.
Stay
Right.
Puft Marshmallow Man.
But anyway, that is my Ghostbusters coffee table book.
Randy hates Ghostbusters.
But yeah, Afterlife, it comes out November 11th or around Thanksgiving. Go check that out.
11.
Obviously, we're going to be talking about it more in the future, but yeah, it's going to be insane. I'm excited. All right, guys, so we have a couple minutes left. I just wanted to go around if we have anything to plug. Nick, anything?
Listen to Command the Mic. We've got some baseball episodes up. We're probably going to do some more. Maybe Randy will come on. We'll discuss top 5 all-time sitcoms. But yes, that is listen to that podcast and watch this show and do stuff.
Yes. Mr. Oakland.
I got nothing to plug.
Nothing?
It's been a rough year for me. I'm still trying to get things going, so I haven't been really working on anything to plug. So
Why don't you plug your Patreon?
no, I'm working on different stuff, so it's all good.
Mum's the word.
Yep.
All righty. Cool. Well, I just want to thank everyone watching at home and on your devices. You can also check out new episodes of Under the Radar every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You can also check out the show on cable channels FiOS 34, RCN 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996. Also, check out the Under the Radar YouTube channel. Subscribe and share. And that about does it. Nick Commando, CJ Oakland. Gentlemen, thank you for your time tonight. This was awesome as always. And I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. We'll see you next time. Take care.